Singapore Airlines has been first traced in 1947, and ever since then, for the second consecutive time, it has been voted #1 in the top 20 airlines.
British Airways is the UK's largest international scheduled airline in regard to its fleet size, international flights and destinations, flying to 400 places. Established in 1972, British Airways is the largest Boeing operator in the world. Together with Iberia, British Airways is part of the International Airlines group, which was formed in 2011. The company's goal is to be the most admired airline by delivering the best service to its customers, establishing control and financial stability, and investing in great people and products. Its biggest competitors are Lufthansa, United Airlines, Delta Airlines, and Air France.
Lufthansa Group, also known as Deutsche Lufthansa AG, is an aviation group that comprises of 5 major business segments. The core segment of the group is the airlines, which includes Lufthansa Passenger Airlines, Swiss Airlines, Brussels Airlines, Austrian Airlines, and Germanwings. The other segments of the company are logistics, catering, maintenance, and the IT section. The group's headquarters are located in Köln, whereas the main operating base is in Frankfurt. The main competitors of the group are Air France and Air Berlin in Europe, and Emirates Airline and Delta Airlines on a global scale.
As we can see here in the total debts and total equity ratio, which has been displayed in the pie chart, total debts are 9,400, whereas total equity is 13,000 Singaporean dollars. So we can see that debts are a really large ratio according to this company, so we can say that it is debt financed. As we move to the leverage of this company, the leverage has been decreasing ever since 2011, where a stock market crash has occurred in Singapore. So as it decreased, it finally reached 1.67%, so investors like this number because it is less risky for them to invest in it. Now moving to the return on assets. This is Singapore Airlines versus its top competitor All Nippon Airways, and we can see that All Nippon Airways has been kind of beating Singapore Airlines in this ratio. It has been having higher ratios, whereas Singapore Airlines has a decreasing ratio, which has finally reached 2.66%. So this shows that Singapore Airlines is having trouble investing and returning these investments into profits. Now moving to the stock market. This is Singapore Airlines price share for the last 2 years. From January 2013 to January 2014, a lot of fluctuations have occurred. It has reached a peak in the mid-2013s and has continued throughout 2014 at a regular basis, but now in November it is reaching a peak. This peak formation is thought to be decreasing and is going to decrease in the later or early future. So this shows that in the short and long term of this stock market, the share price is going to decrease really bad.
British Airways assets are financed by finance leases and hire purchase arrangements. The bank loss of the company are 280 million, but they are saved for aircraft. After the merge of British Airways and Iberia in 2011, a big increase in revenues can be seen in the shares. In 2011 and 2012, an instability can be seen in the stock prices since the new group was a new merge, and during this period it was still forming and reconciling its policies. But you can see that in 2013 all the stock prices are doubling and they're continuing in their increasing, and this proves that the merger was an important and successful decision and showing to investors that the company would be a great place.
Lufthansa Group mainly finances its activities through borrowings and equity. The total amount of the liabilities comprised of 6,333.7 million euros for 2013. 1,812 million euro of this amount came from bonds sold to the public, and 1,254 million euro came from loans to banks. Lufthansa Group is a 100% free float company. This means that all of its shares are available to the public or are held by public investors. As of 2013, 63% of the shareholders were institutional investors and 36.5% were private. No insiders from the company hold any stock. The biggest shareholders in Lufthansa is BlackRock Incorporation with 5.5% of the shares. Fixed asset turnover shows the company's effectiveness in generating profit from their fixed assets such as property and machinery. The rates for Lufthansa for 2012 and 2013 are 2.5 and 1.99 respectively. This is much lower than the rates from the previous years. Based on this, it can be concluded that the firm has overinvested in assets or has not been successful in using these assets to make profit.
In terms of sustainability, Singapore Airlines has also participated in the Harapan Rainforest Initiative, as well as in the Asia and Pacific Initiative to reduce emissions, which is also known as the Aspire Club. It also invested in non-carbon neutral growth, where it pays money in order to invest and find new ways without consuming too much carbon and fuel.
British Airways Corporate Responsibility Program is called Non-Destination. It covers the waste management, recycling, climate change issues, fuel innovation. At Heathrow and Gatwick, British Airways recycle almost 50% of their waste, and their climate action plan includes developing a new low-carbon fuels, environmental projects, proactive support for appropriate government regulations, and emission-saving initiatives. Moreover, Airways companies reduce their carbon dioxide emissions by half using low-carb fuels and thus reduce their carbon footprint by 2015. Finally, British Airways is proud of employing a diverse workforce of employees with different backgrounds and cultures.
In terms of increasing their environmental efficiency, Lufthansa has significantly reduced its fuel consumption per passenger. In 2014, average fuel consumption was 3.91 liters per 100 kilometers, which was about 4% lower than 2012. As a consequence, the amount of carbon emissions diminished as well. Next, as part of their sustainable management, Lufthansa Group launched a program called SCORE with the aim to reduce expenses and increase revenue. Also, Lufthansa has been striving to diversify its staff. Currently, the group has a team of employees coming from 151 nations.
Okay, so now we move to the EPS, earnings per share, which is decreasing throughout the years. So this shows that it's not efficient in handling equity. So you probably should not invest in Singapore Airlines because, as you can see, the numbers don't match.
British Airways is a very well-known company. Throughout the years, it faces lots of ups and downs. However, even after the big losses in 2008 and 2009, the company merged with Iberia, puts British Airways back on track, generating big profits. The company is trustable and it has a bright future. Every investor should consider British Airways as a place to invest their money. With its long history of high-quality service and admirable mission, British Airways is the perfect company for investors.
Based on all of this information and ratios we analyzed, we can conclude that Lufthansa Group right now is not the best company to invest in. This is so due to the unstable ratio levels and also due to the high competition in this service field.